general managers recently came out with a poll. You know, they got a ton of polls. Poll who's the best team, poll who's going to be MVP. But this poll I found very intriguing. They had the poll for who was the best leader in the NBA. And lo and behold, who came out to be the best leader in the NBA? Was it LeBron James? Was it Kawhi Leonard? Wasn't Giannis Antetokounmpo? Wasn't Stephen Curry? Wasn't Kevin Durant? It was Damian Lillard. They consider Damian Lillard the best leader in the NBA. While I love Dame, I think Dame is excellent. I think he is a great player. I think he is a great leader. I don't think he's the best leader in the NBA. And I think they're trying to use Damian Lillard as a tool to push their own objective of, they're trying to push their own selfish objective to the NBA players. They're trying to let them know this is what we expect for us to consider you a great leader. They don't want you to talk. Damian Lillard is not much of a talker. They don't want you to change teams. Damian Lillard doesn't want to join a super team. Damian Lillard is about his bag. He's about that money. He care less about joining it up to potentially win a championship when there's hundreds of $millions on the table. He was on the Joe Budden podcast. He said, a lot of guys are ring chasing, and oftentimes they try to join up with a team, leave $100 million on the table. They don't win anyway, and then when they get older, everybody's looking at them like, well, what happened to you? And that's not the kind of guy that Dame is. But out of all of this, and this is no disrespect to Damian Lillard, but this is just the owners pushing their objective to say a great leader is someone who doesn't talk about, doesn't talk. We don't want our guys talking too much. Dame does say things about when asked, but he's not like a vocal person like LeBron James going out of his way to say things about certain things. So they want somebody who doesn't rock the boat. Damian Lillard doesn't rock the boat. They want somebody who's going to stay loyal to a team no matter what. And that's what Damian Lillard did when he signed his extension. To him, it made perfect financial sense. Don't get it messed up about Dame. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure if Dame had a better opportunity which paid the same amount of money, he would take that better opportunity that could pay the same amount of money. It's just with the way that the NBA contracts are done is, the home team or the team that you're signed with, they could pay you the max dollars, super max. See what I'm saying? So Dame is in his head. He's in his bag. He's not necessarily trying to be a great leader. All these traits don't necessarily make you a great leader. Being quiet, staying with one team doesn't necessarily make you a great leader. But they're trying to hijack Dame as the model so players can think it and influence players to try to stay with one team. Like, hey, this is what Dame does. Dame is a great leader. Dame doesn't rock the boat. He's not questioning ownership. He's not doing none of that. He's not pushing for trades. He's not trying to get traded from us and all this other stuff. Dame's a great leader. When in fact, it doesn't necessarily make him a great leader. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a great leader. He's not the best leader in the NBA. I don't see Dame really galvanizing people to follow him. And I'm going to tell you multiple examples of how we don't see him necessarily in a great light as a leader. Dame, I hate to do this, but this is just me trying to point out the fact that owners are trying to use Damian Lillard to push their agenda. They're trying to push their, stay on the plantation, stay on the farm, don't venture off, stay right here underneath me, don't say shit, just do what we tell you to do, don't leave, and don't rock the boat, and we're gonna uphold you to the highest point. But I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. If Dame was a great leader, and this is no disrespect to anybody, once again, he would get LaMarcus Aldridge to stay with the Portland Trail Blazers. He would be able to mend that relationship. As you all remember, when Dame got drafted by the Portland Trail Blazers, him and Aldridge never really gelled. A lot of that was Aldridge, but if Dame is such a great leader, he could potentially, sway Aldridge to come and stay with them. If Dame is such a great leader, why does he struggle to get all these all-star votes, coaches votes, GM votes when it comes to all-star? He's such a great leader. Why isn't he ranked higher? Even when you look at the GM polls of who are the best players in the NBA, Damian Lillard rarely cracks top 10. So he's such a great leader. He's such a great player. He's such all of these things. I remember a couple of years he wasn't even top 20. So it's just like he's struggling to get votes. He couldn't keep Aldridge in Portland. He He's struggling to be on the GM's poll as some of the best players in the NBA, but all of a sudden he's a great leader. Does none of that make sense to me? See what I'm saying? So on one end, you're saying he's such a great player, such a great leader, but then you're not giving him the respect and accolades that he needs. MVP votes, best player in the game votes. He's not getting any of that. And then another thing is, what really gets me about Damian Lillard being such a great leader, and I know this happens to everybody. This happens to people like LeBron, but great leaders, they're not gonna get swept in like the earlier rounds and then finally make it to the Western Conference Finals and get swept again. Like, great leaders are gonna be like, well, I've seen this before. I'm not gonna let this go down again. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's like some overwhelming circumstances where you had injuries. But guess what? Warriors had injuries too. They had injuries as well. And then when the Pelicans swept the Portland Trailblazers a couple of years back, they had some nagging injuries as well. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, so he's such a great leader. These kind of sweeps early in your career, these are tests not only on your game but your leadership. So I'm not necessarily gonna buy it. And then also, if you looked in the playoffs, his leadership didn't really shine through when he was playing the Denver Nuggets. You guys remember, they went to a quadruple overtime where the best leader in the game made some bonehead decisions, had some poor shooting games. That whole Denver series, CJ McCollum really shined through, and he led the team. CJ led the team, not Dame. And what I mean, he led the team, big plays, defensive plays, blocks, threes, clutch defensive plays. It was all CJ. Dame had a horrible series. You guys could go back and play the tape. OKC, he was a monster. That Denver series, he was awful. And his leadership style was just keep shooting the ball and not switching anything up. He wasn't really necessarily setting guys up either. So, and this is not a knock on Dame. Like, Dame is a great player, but the owners are trying to use Dame to push their fuckery and say, like, oh, like, to be a great leader, you gotta be quiet. To be a great leader, you can't join the super team. To be a great leader, you see what I'm saying? Like, you gotta stay in pocket. Like, to them, they look at Dame as somebody who's staying in pocket. Dame, on the other hand, he's looking at it as like, I'm trying to get the fucking bag. I'm trying to get the bag. I want my money. I want my cash. I want my cash money. I'm not gonna go join a super team and with the promise of making money, turn down $80 million and then we don't win a chip, or we just win one chip when I could have did that and staying at home, and then guess what? I'm 50 years old and I'm broke because I left $80 million on the table. That's Dame's perspective, but the GM's perspective is, hey, he's a great leader, he's a great guy, he's a great player. But how insulting are you? None of you guys said you would start your team with Damian Lillard. None of you guys even have Damian Lillard in your top 10 as a top 10 player. None of you guys are giving Damian Lillard, from coaches to GMs, you're not giving him any MVP votes, let alone all-star votes. All the time, he has to mention the fact that he's struggling to get all-star votes. If he's such a great leader and this, that, and the third, great leaders don't even have to say anything about that, right? Because it shows. But even with Dame, when it shows, he's getting a little kind of, blackball, a little backhanded compliments. To me, this is like a backhanded compliment. And the GMs need to take this and stick it right up their ass, because this is like the worst thing. That's like telling a girl she's pretty, but you never really ask her out. You never get her flowers or nothing. Like, you just say, oh, you're a pretty girl, you're a pretty girl. You never really give her the lead role in anything. Like, they just really trying to use Dame to push a weak agenda, which is horrible. Dion Waiters will not start the regular season opener. He got suspended due to conduct detrimental. And for me, it's just like, Dion Waiters, he's a good player, guys. And he's one of those guys where, I mean, NBA has all of these guys that can play ball, but there's certain guys that can play ball, they're just under the radar. Like, Waiters is one of those guys. If you look at that series when OKC was up 3-1 against Golden State, Waiters was putting in work. He was putting in work that series. So he's a baller. He's a gamer. But, they say he had unprofessional conduct. It just was taking too long, and it just kept continuing. My thing to Dion Waiters is this: do you want to still play in the NBA? You're messing with Pat Riley, the guy with the rings. Not just in LA, in Miami. You know what I'm saying? Like, you messing with a guy that he's an icon. He could put you places, he could set you up for your career for the rest of your life. Point blank period. Like for the rest of your life, you could be considered basketball royalty just rubbing shoulders with him. Like Pat Riley, honestly, if you want to put him with in a category, and if I could put him in a category for you to understand what I'm talking about, Pat Riley's like a Dr. Dre. He's like a Timberland. He's like a Swiss Beat. Like he is like royal. Like dude, when I say Dr. Dre, you're thinking about hip hop royalty. Pat Riley is basketball royalty. For them to suspend you, you've taken yourself out of heaven's gates. Like you basically like Lucifer gets shot down, your wings clipped. You can't do that. Then you guess what this is gonna cost him? $83,000. $83,448 for one game or a couple games, whatever they're gonna do. I think it's one game. Some people don't even make that in the whole entire year. You're making more than some doctors and lawyers and some other professionals, nurses and truck drivers, all that stuff. You want to throw $83,000 away for conduct detrimental, like out of all things. And you got to remember this: they have Jimmy Butler, so you're not even the essential leg of the table. Like the Heat are deep. They got Tyler Hero. You know they got some pieces that they're gonna bring. So if Jimmy's looking at you like a problem, Pat Riley's looking at you like a problem, you're out of there. Like you're out of there. It's nothing for them to flip you. They've suspended people for less. They suspended James Johnson for being overweight, and that's another thing. Like I said, do you want to still play in the NBA? Dion Waiters came in out of shape. You see what I'm saying? Like I think even last year, he came in out of shape. He's like consistently coming in and out of shape and stuff like that. He's in and out of shape sometimes due to injury. Certain things are out of his hands. But Pat Riley could be like, trade you and then say he's damaged goods, and GMs will listen to him. And another thing, you're in sunny Miami, babes, beaches, Bentleys. You walk out of the door, you're right on the beach. Not too far from the Caribbean. You know what I'm saying? You could take a boat ride, and you in Cuba, whatever you want to do. You living the lifestyle you're living, Florida, no state tax. Do you really want to get traded back to OKC or Minnesota, a place where it's 20 below, a place where there's tornadoes, no beaches, no beautiful women and stuff like that? Is that you want to go from Collins to Old Town Road or something like this? Is that what you want to do? Like just reevaluate a situation, brother. I mean this with the utmost respect, because I think Dion Waiters is a gamer, but mentally, he's not making the good decisions. Financially, you're not making good decisions. Career-wise, this is a horrible decision to get suspended by. This is suspension by the team. That's why the fine is so high. Man, basically 80 racks. You know what I'm saying? That could be put to good use. I know you pay your mom's phone bills, your dad's bills, your cousin's bills. That could have been used to pay somebody's bills, keep somebody's lights on. Instead, that's going back in the team's pocket, and you know where that goes to. They say it goes to charitable events, but it goes back to somebody's bonus. So stop giving these people their money back, Dion, and stay in Miami. It's a sunny place. You can make your niche there, and he could be a household name. Hoops Junction, where hoops meets hoopla. Like, comment, subscribe.